J-A-Y, Elsaug, E-L-S-H-A-U-G. And I'm chairman of the Pelican Group of Lakes Improvement District here on Pelican Lake. So, I got involved with the Pagolid because we're year-round residents, my wife Tracy and son Eli, and there's a lot of changes that are occurring in our world, and the rate of that change is extremely high. And things are affecting our lake that are impacting our lives. And it's very important that we maintain our ability to respond and be proactive towards those changes. Things like aquatic invasive species, regulations, environmental changes, changes with technologies, and even behaviors of people. I feel there's going to be more and more people like us who want to make the lake more of a year-round habitat for themselves, a place to live and a residence, a place to enjoy. Even if not full-time residency here, if you take a look at the changes on just the lakeshore, seasonal cabins are now replaced by seasonal or full-time year-round homes with natural gas feeding them and the ability to come out and enjoy the investments that people have made in their properties at the lake. There's so many issues that need to have attention that we as people need to be active and involved in our lake, in our community, and the changes that are taking place around us. So there's a definite trend where the behaviors of people using the lake are changing from seasonal small cabins to year-round residences where they're occupied either year-round or being utilized year-round by families. One just has to take a look at the lakeshore to see the changes that have taken place with small cabins being replaced by large full-size homes that would be very similar to what you might find in town. The way those properties are being utilized are much different than they were in the past.
All right.
Now I can transition that into so with that additional development, the Pagolid has recognized a deforestation issue around Pelican Lake. Now normally deforestation is thought of as rainforests, but it's really occurring in our very area. And it can take 100 years for a tree to develop, but it only takes a few minutes for one to be torn down. And so we started a tree planting program several years ago to help restore the trees that are close to the shoreline and part of our property members, because trees make up a very important part of the water filtration, the structure of the banks, and the overall quality of the environment that surround the Pelican Lakes. Yeah, so the lack of trees and vegetation, all of these things are here for natural reasons, to help filter and slow down runoff from rainwater, to keep fertilizers from entering the lake. Oftentimes people want to have a yard like they have in town here at the lake, and putting fertilizer on the grass only washes directly into the lake, promoting the growth of algae and weeds in front of property that really aren't desired. And so people are trying to do things to make things look nice, but also have to realize the impacts to the environment that those actions cause. And so by restoring things to a more natural state and doing lakeshore restoration projects like the Pagolid have done, by planting natural vegetation, native species of flowers and bushes and grasses, and the trees that we're promoting are all ways to help manage the impact of human on the lake. I think most people can really appreciate what their parents and grandparents had done to invest and be part of the environment here at the lake. But now we're at a point where there's a generational shift, where properties and responsibilities are shifting from one generation to another. And for us, with our boy Eli, who's almost 6, he's looking forward to being here every year. In fact, he even jokes that he's going to live here with Mom and Dad forever. Well, we would like that. Maybe not so much. I don't know. Don't put that in there. But But one thing that's really neat is to see youngsters like looking forward to what could be for them. And the things that we enjoy, the clear water, the swimming, the fishing, the ability to be able to enjoy the nature and the natural settings that we have here are really, really important. And oftentimes we come here with the expectation to enjoy that. And oftentimes the responsibility to preserve that gets overlooked. And the environment and organisms and the ecosystem all continue to work every single day, even when we're not here. And so those changes, positive or negative, can have a positive or negative impact on the future of how we enjoy the lake and also how future generations enjoy the lake. And so I got involved with the Pagolid, one, to learn a lot about the ecosystem and the programs that are here to help preserve those and make a contribution to ensuring that the future of the lake, the way my wife and I and our family and friends enjoy the lake, are there for the generations in our family to come and the generations of others. I think all of us can appreciate the investments that our parents or grandparents might have made in selecting Pelican Lake as a place to bring our families and have recreation and a time to relax and enjoy the outdoors. But now we're at a point where those generations are beginning to transfer properties and transfer those responsibilities onto the next generation. And Tracy and Eli and I, we joined Pelican Lake to live here, but we also joined the Pagolid to be able to help foster what the future might bring as the next generations get involved in helping to create that same type of environment for future generations to come. And making that investment isn't always easy, but it's really worthwhile because things in the environment continue to work and change. And while we come out here to enjoy what the lake has to offer to us, we also have to take time to invest in what we can do to help the lake be healthy and survive and flourish for not only ourselves, but for future generations. So that future generations looking back really can feel good about the responsibility that we took in helping the lake maintain a proper balance between humans using the lake and how the lake needs to be balanced. This is my 6th year with Pagolid, and looking to the future, I'd encourage Pagolid to take issues on that may not always be the easiest, and really looking at projects like the Fish Lake Dam Restoration Project, looking at the tree project, mapping the septic systems and tracking and keeping data together for other organizations to leverage and utilize. We, through Pagolid's 25 years, have been able to collect one of the largest databases of water quality samples in the state of Minnesota. We frequently partner with the University of Minnesota to provide data to assist their research, and that was very, very insightful and forward-thinking for folks that came before me. And I encourage Pagolid to continue to mature and develop along the path of being able to work collaboratively outside the lake as well as within the lake to preserve and use science and data and behavioral changes to really help make sure that the lakes stay as brilliant and enjoyable as they currently are. I would consider myself a newbie to Pelican Lake. Tracy and I moved here in 2011. I had moved away after college for about 13 years and decided to move back to the area. My job allows me to work remotely. I first moved to Little Cormorant Lake and really enjoyed lake life there, and then had the opportunity to move to Pelican Lake shortly after marrying Tracy. And I really appreciated being able to live in this type of environment, having lived in a very large city, and returning and really felt it deep inside myself to get involved and make sure that I made my contribution early on to the lake and be able to share my time and talent and help preserve what we have here. I really appreciate being able to be here every single day, even in the dead of winter. It's a nice, fun time to be here. It's quiet, it's serene, but getting to know people and our neighbors. And Pagolid has allowed me the opportunity to speak with people, to understand issues, to develop new friendships, not just with board members, but people who have contacted me and talked about some of the issues that are facing our lake. People have wanted to get involved and do something about it. And bringing that community together year-round, day-to-day, not just on the weekends in the summer when we all come here to have recreation on the lake, but a way to really foster that true community all around Pelican Lake. There's so many memories that are made on the lake, and it's hard to pick just one. But for me, what I really enjoy is being able to be on the water, on your dock, swimming, and have people drive by on their boat, or you pass them, and being able to wave and seeing the happiness and seeing people enjoy and having fun. It's always a positive atmosphere that's not filled with drama. It's a way to take the other parts of the world and temporarily turn them off and say hello to friends and family, drop in unexpectedly, have them drop in unexpectedly, meet over a slice of pizza or roasting marshmallows for s'mores at a bonfire. The level of camaraderie and friendship and openness and trust that each of us seem to have when we're sharing time on the lake is really special, and it's not found everywhere. And as important as it is to preserve the environment, preserving that culture and discipline around being friendly and respectful towards one another, I think is equally as important moving forward so that positive memories can remain for everyone. What makes Pagolid unique is that every single property owner within 500 feet of the high water mark is taxed a very small amount on their property taxes that goes into a collective fund to fund projects like water quality monitoring, septic tank monitoring, buoys and safety. And this really makes it a great way to cost share in all the programs that benefit the lake that spread across everybody. And everyone's small contribution adds up to a whole lot. Pagolid started through a need to work on community-based issues that was based on representing everybody that's in the tax base versus an association that relies on membership. And the earlier projects had to do with centralized sewer and water, around the lake. And so organizing together and have a common voice to be able to discuss, address, and evaluate programs or projects that could impact the lake gave every single resident the ability to have an equal voice in the process. A really great example of the effectiveness of Pagolid is around the issue of curly leaf pondweed. Curly leaf pondweed is an invasive species, and it's a weed that is in our lake, but we've been able to manage it. We'll never ever be able to eliminate it, but by working closely with the DNR, using funds from the Pagolid accounts, and matching funds from the DNR, we've been able to treat specific parts of the lake that show densities that the DNR sees as being a nuisance to people on the lake. And by treating that, we now have curly pondweed under control. And by using that as an example, it shows that where there is the ability to take action, an organization like Pagolid can assemble funds and resources and take action to help make sure that something like curly leaf pondweed doesn't adversely affect the lake, and that we can learn to live in balance with it. A great example of the effectiveness of Pagolid is on the issue of curly leaf pondweed. Pagolid has been able to partner with the DNR to take the DNR's matching funds along with the funds of Pagolid to effectively treat curly leaf pondweed in Pelican Lakes. While we won't be able to eliminate curly leaf pondweed, we are able to manage it to manageable levels that prevents it from overtaking some of the parts of our lake where we do have infestations. And being able to take actions where we can and where there are solutions is really a benefit to all the residents of Pelican Lake. Yeah, so curly leaf pondweed collects on the bottom of the lake. It does grow taller. It's a very thick plant. It can shed. It gets caught in props. It makes swimming challenging. It can get very, very thick and matty. In some ways, it's a great habitat for fish. In some ways, it's a very nuisance for people on the lake. It can wash up on the lakeshore. Many of our friends on the west side of the lake spend many hours together in the springtime cleaning up piles of the weed that rolls in once the ice breaks loose. So residents of the Pelican Lakes have an incredible amount of investment made in their properties, both the lakeshore property and their structures. It's worth several $billion. It's one of the third or fourth highest taxable areas in Otter Tail County. And I don't know if everyone realizes it, but if we get hit with a really bad aquatic invasive species, it can adversely affect property values. Zebra mussels impacted us. We saw a dip in property values. I think we're starting to recover because we've learned how to live with them. But there's other threats out there like starry stonewort that can create a thick mat of ugly funk that sits on top of the water that makes the lake almost unusable in areas where that happens. And if that occurred in our lakes, we could see, a very negative impact on property values. Some of the lakes that are already receiving that are seeing that, and it's our responsibility to help prevent the transfer of invasive species like starry stonewort into Pelican Lake and ensure that people are responsible in their use of the lake and the resources around us. "25 years ago, Pagolid was established to help with a community water and sewer project. And that was an awesome way for the community to ensure that every property owner around the lake had the opportunity to voice their concerns and opinions around the project and determine if that was an appropriate project for the lake. That precedent has lasted for 25 years to be able to allow lake residents an institution or a mechanism to bring issues that impact everybody on the lake together to address them. And over the years, the LID has worked to address that with safety, aquatic invasive species, water quality monitoring, the Fish Lake Dam, access, and all of those critical issues. And I'm thankful being a resident of the lake, and one of the reasons I've wanted to serve and continue that legacy into the next 25 years and beyond is to ensure that the lake represents itself and has a voice and is able to work together to address whatever issues lie ahead of us in the future. Well, this is our son Eli, and Eli's been a big help to the Pagolid. We do our annual meeting every year in August. And Eli has a very special job as he's learning how to serve the community through it. What's your job, Eli?
To do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, you lead everyone in the Pledge of Allegiance. So we really appreciate you helping that way. And are there ways that you help the lake?
I help with when my mom and dad need me.
Yeah, that's very good. And what are some of the things you really enjoy about living at the lake all the time?
Having a nice time with my family and getting ice cream at Fair Hills and going swimming and meeting my friends.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun on the lake.
Yeah.
When you grow up and get bigger, do you think you're still going to be at the lake?
Yes.
What do you think life's going to be like when you're big and an adult?
I think it's going to be the same.
Yeah, well, we hope it's the same too, and we're working hard to keep it the same, Eli. Eli, what's some of your favorite things to do at the lake?
Swimming. Swimming. And
Tell us more about swimming.
I can jump in the lake, and when I swim to the bottom, I can like pin my feet, and I can push myself up really fast.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And can you swim far?
Yes.
That's great. And Eli, you know, like Dad and Mom, and there's a whole bunch of other people like on the Pagolid board that work really hard to make sure the lake stays clean and healthy.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to them for the work that they do?
Thank you. I'm really glad
Really glad for what?
if they do that. Yes.
We need people like you and your
Yes.
friends at the lake to all work together.
Yes. Yes, and I'm going to get my friends out too.
Eli, do you think one day you're going to help the lake?
Yes. And my friends too.
Yeah, is there anything you can do right now while you're still little to help the lake? What would be good things for the environment?
Not throwing cans or anything. Garbage in.
Right. We don't throw garbage in. That's good.
Thank you for helping our lake. Thank you for keeping our lake. Thanks for keeping care of our lake.